We're back. Season 2. We got new stories, new topics, same hat, new shirt. I haven't even fixed the hole in the wall since season 1. I still gotta paint it. We got new everything. Stay tuned. You know you're here to listen to it. So let's go season 2. Woo!
Welcome to Achieving Failure, a podcast that gives you a break from politics, popular trends, and brings you good old-fashioned life stories that made us who we are today. Sit back and relax with your host, Chris, as he brings you another exciting adventure on how to achieve failure.
All right, welcome back to Achieving Failure. Today we got a special guest with us. Groundskeeper by day, skateboarder by night. The man, the missing knuckle. The guy, the man who's got the name Ricky motherfucking Bobby with us.
Yes, sir.
So, kind of start this off. We were kind of talking a little bit earlier before. So, the name Ricky Bobby. How do you get something like that?
It was a gift. I got that name 7 years ago by one of my friends that were very close, you know. Came mostly from how fast I was in the bowls, and then it turned out to a couple other things too, you know, just how fast I push products and stuff like that overall. But that's pretty much the gist of how I got that name. It stuck. Everybody calls me it to this day. I don't think anybody really thinks my name is Ricky. No,
Because that's when we were talking with Joey, he's like, "Oh, it's Ricky Bobby," and I was like, "Is that really his name? Like, what?"
Dude, I swear. Even then, I mean, only the older friends that know, they still call me Ricky Bobby. It's like it's my mom calls me Ricky Bobby. My brother calls me Ricky Bobby. Anybody, yeah. It's just like what I do. It's that, or they call me old fucks. With the Instagram name, you know.
So,
I don't know why it stuck. I don't know.
So no, you're doing skateboarding, you're skating. You now got picked up, or you recently got picked up by Encino? How long
I
you
recently got picked up by Encino. I had a different company I was sponsored by, the Dope Exchange. They do mostly car meets and stuff like that, so a lot of DJing. But you know, over time I ran into this company, and it's treated me like gold, honestly.
Nice. So how do you like? Because the whole thing with skating is we're all living in Vegas, and dude, it's summertime. It's 110 goddamn degrees outside.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you're already working outside. Like, skateboarding in general. Like, how do you do it? Like, how are you keeping up with this heat? Because I know it's been a while since I thought skating in general just kind of faded out, but apparently there's still a huge scene.
Oh, dude, it got even bigger. Yeah, dude. Now the fucking we're going, dude. Street League itself is expanded so much, dude. It's like having an actual arena filled with fucking people that just love skating, you know, dude. And like right now, so many local companies are popping up here and there, you know, just trying to support, you know. It's pretty nice. Like when we do our little jams that get hosted by like Vince Stone, he does a lot of our planning, our events and stuff like that. And we'll get a couple companies together to give out to the community, cook up some hot dogs and water, and just throw down the best we fucking can, you know.
So what got you into boarding? I know you're saying you're fast in the bowls and how you're pushing product, but
skating itself, I found it when I was like 8, and we moved into the KB homes, and I met this kid with long fucking hair, fucking wearing a fucking Birdhouse t-shirt, and all dressed in black and shit, and we ended up being friends. And one day he brought his skateboard out, and his dad skated, and I got to try my first real board then, and I loved it. So I went to my dad, and I was like, hey, I need me a skateboard. Like, I need one like his. And I showed him, and he was like, oh, yeah? All right, I'll get you a board. So I'm like, okay, cool. Waited 2 days. He takes me to Walmart. And gets me a shitty fucking board.
was it those flat boards? Were those flat boards with the little fin on the back end? Plastic, that hard plastic?
It had the little fucking, like, sparks on it. Bro, every time I hit the tail, which is the coolest part of it, but overall, it was just like, I knew because I saw that board, this board feels different. Yeah. So I was like, why can't I get one of like him? He was like, because I'm not going to spend money on something that I don't know you're going to do.
Yeah.
Right? And he was like, you can come talk to me after you learn how to do an ollie. Show me a trick at least. Took me 2 weeks. This kid helped me out. His dad helped me out. Got the ollie. And I showed my dad, and he was like, all right, we're going to go to the board shop. We're going to go to the board shop. So he takes me to the board shop, man, and then he lets me pick everything I wanted, right? And we're getting help from the fucking dude behind the counter because we didn't know what the fuck we were talking about at all. And picked everything out, fucking went to the cashier, and he was like, yeah, it's going to be $155. And my dad looked at me and was like, you motherfucker.
Yo, boards are not cheap. Like, again, you're talking... I don't know, back when, because I was kind of the same way. It's like, dude, I want to skate. And my parents were like, okay. And they got you that hard ass plastic, those fat wheels that really aren't good. The only thing they're really good for is you sit on it, roll down the hill.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I want the actual skate. I want the skateboard and like the videos. And it's like, it's like, okay, well, you get the board. But no, it's not just the board. You got to get the board. You got to get the tape. You got to get the trucks. You got to get the wheels. You got to get the bearings. You got to. You're putting this thing together, and it's just $5 here, $50 here, $20 here.
Oh yeah, man.
Next thing you know, you got a, like you said, $150 board.
After he heard $150, he was like, I'm gonna buy it, but you better never stop skating. And I never did, man. Never did. It's been like my home away from home, and like to deal with the heat and stuff. You go at 5. Go at 5, wait an hour, it might suck ass. It gets like 7 o'clock, it starts cooling down. And you only been out there for like 2 hours. So half the time you're either doing small little runs or you're gonna drink a beer, chill with the homies, and fuck around for a little bit. And, just waste that time. But sometimes the best things come out of just fucking around.
No, you got picked up. No, when did you get picked up by Encino? You said
like 2 months ago.
Now how does that whole thing even happen? Because obviously you always hear people get picked up, you got sponsored, you get noticed, blah blah blah. But it's like
this one was different. Like compared to the Dope Exchange, they were having a photo shoot at JC, the Dope Exchange, and they were using like these girl models that didn't know how to skate. And at the time, I was doing skate classes at JC. So I'm like, I got little shredders here. So I just went over there and kind of fucked around with them. Like, and just kind of stole the camera light.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, I took this awesome video. He's called 24K. Fucking took him away on accident. Next thing you know, he's filming me. And then I guess the owner was there. And he was watching. Next thing you know, he walks up to me with one of their limited edition shirts, and they're like, here, we want you to come to our next skate comp. So I go to the skate comp, and I think I'm gonna do dog shit. Like, I'm knocking off rust, I'm rehabbing off these drugs, like I'm trying to like do this, like teaching these kids to keep my mind off of wandering other places.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna go try. So it ends up, I think it was at the drop smoke shop, and I thought I was gonna get eaten alive. I think I was gonna do a single, but with my just normal run through, like just fucking around with the park, there was this team that was missing one. It's called I can't remember the name off the top, man, but they were like, yo, we like how you shred, can you be our mystery box skater, because they don't understand like how you skate. See,
okay.
So like I do a lot of different tricks. I'm not like straight cold cut, like, like I add a lot of flair to different things that make no sense. And so they needed that because everybody pretty much knew each other's tricks. It's pretty like cut cold.
When a lot of people are doing tricks, like, because I remember watching your Instagram, do a lot of people do any like vert, or is it all kind of like rails, tabletops?
It's a really good mixture. I mean, I know guys who shred at, flat ground, but also kill it over in the bowls. But a lot of people that skate street, they're a different breed by itself. They could throw themselves off a fucking six stair and do all these other things, but when it comes to carving and hitting these big ramps, they kind of get shaky with it. But majority of the time, I think a lot of in general skaters are pretty well diverse just by just hanging out at the park, because you meet one friend that likes to do something, or you see something and you kind of mix it up. So I don't know. I think bowl is mostly underrated, especially, honestly. Bowls, I think more people, more general people outside of skating prefer to watch, you know, stair sets and stuff like that, flat ground, just because it's appealing, or maybe they just, I don't know, it's just preferred taste.
Well, I mean, like me growing up, like I used to come home from high school. I used to go to my friend's house. Even like after high school, that's all we ever did was like come home, go to the mall. Like I never skated, but he always did. So I would just sit here and watch him skate. And we would always go to his house, smoke weed, watch all the skate videos, snowboarding videos, shit like that. It was one of those things. It's kind of funny because I always wanted to be the guy behind the camera. And because I was like, I'm not skating. I know nothing about skating, but I want to be the guy behind the camera doing the video, taking the pictures, because it's like I love the pictures and my friend loved to skate. And I was like, how do we do this? How do we make this shit go hand in hand?
Dude.
So it's a cool little atmosphere, like you were saying, because if you capture the moment right, stairs are sick.
Oh yeah.
You're jumping stairs, you're doing the rails, but also if you're doing some clean hand tricks coming out of the bowl, like it's pretty wild.
It's different. I got a lot of good mentors. That just kind of like showed me the way. I used to be a street skater, or tried to be, you know. And then like one day I went to a Bunker skate park and I met Crazy Chris. He's an old little fucking old dirtbag. The motherfucker's awesome. He'll fucking call you a pussy straight to your face. He called my stepbrother a little fag the whole time. Like he's like, you fucking Peter Puffers, like you better get the fuck out there. And then we had this one dude. Dude, it's been so many years, I can't remember his name, but he was a really big inspiration to me about speed, because he would fucking blow through that park like no one's business. His name was Shawnee. Blow through the park just pumping. And I remember one day I was like, I want to do that. So with Crazy Chris, he's a really good bowl skater, and he's pretty decent at flat ground too, but he was mostly a bowl, man, or just transition in general. And then fucking next thing you know, man, I was asking them how to do it. It led me to a lot of good places, man. I fucking love it. Now I see him and his old ass. He was the first person I ever got to see, Crazy Chris. There was this company back in the day called 3 Loose Screws. And I wanted to be on that team so bad, but I sucked ass, dude. And the people on there were, even to this day, the two guys, Kenny and Kendrick, are the most savage skaters I know. Like honestly, those are my top two for sure. Top two. I don't care who's in front of me. You can put a pro in front of me. I like their style, dude. They flow. So that's like that. I guess it's like I like the style of surfing, and that's just what I do. Like even through the streets, just going down a fat ass hill and you just surfing it, man. It's no better feeling, you know. But overall, man. That's how it got me. Those people. And then ever since then, that's what I focused on and focused. I spent like 8 years just focusing on bowls. But because I did that for so long, I kind of felt flat in like flat ground and shit like that. So right now, that's what I'm trying to get myself into.
So with watching all these guys skating and everything, like all these guys that are like you were saying, compare them with the pros, because I remember you were doing, where are you going with Encino? Because I remember you invited me out to, you had a skate competition, or you were hosting a skate competition. What were you doing with a skate competition?
Well, we usually host a lot of them. Like it's more of Vince Stones. He's a part of the team. He's one of the team managers. He is the best of the best. He gets most of our jams, everything, not just for Encino, but he brings all the companies together into this beautiful, like everybody's pitching in, there's prizes, there's everything. Like I'm pretty sure last time Go Green, the company, they brought out a lot of shirts and gave out a lot for free, all thanks to like the hookup with Vince. And you know, as a team manager, I think Vince is a really good team manager. He keeps us all really like motivated, and you know, and he's always pushing content out every day. I don't think there's a day this guy does not skate. And so like I finished work one day and I was like, I don't even know if I want to go skate today. I kind of had a shitty day, had a shitty week, you know. And I I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna drive past it anyway. Let me stop by. Well, they are just getting done with an event there at Desert Breeze, and I'm like, I walk up and I say hi to everybody and shit, and I noticed that, you know, there was some boards on the table and shit, and I met Pedro. So I walk up to Pedro and I'm like, so what is the company about? What is, you know, how long you been doing it for? Blah, blah, blah. And he starts telling me, you know, I come from Mexico, Encino. And he was like, yeah, I just do this, kind of like give back to the community. And I always love skating. And he's a pretty decent skater for his age.
I think it's like nowadays, I think skating's still one of the best pastimes. Like I remember I always did snowboarding. Like that was always my out. I remember skateboarders would always ask me, it's like, yo, how hard is it to snowboard? And I was like, I don't know. I feel like skateboarding's so much harder. It's skateboarding.
I want to go snowboarding. I feel like I could carve that shit up.
You probably could, but it's like, I always feel like that's such a good out. And especially with kids nowadays, because I remember, especially in Vegas, coming out here when I was younger, being a kid, if you don't have an out, you're immediately going straight to drugs because you can't. Vegas is a gambling town. Where the fuck are you gonna go? Everything is gambling. Everything is gambling. Everything is casinos. And drinking. Yeah. So if you didn't really have that out, you're gonna fall into that pit. So it's nice to at least see skateboarding still there and people are still trying to give back and still trying to keep it alive.
Even if, you know, it isn't out, you know, that was the only thing when my life was falling apart. I lost, you know, my parents split up, and then my dad ended up meeting this chick, and we started 3 years together as like a new family, and then that breaks down. But the one thing that always took everything away was skateboarding. It doesn't matter what's going on in my life. I don't care if my girl broke up with me, my car's not running, this, that, the other. I gotta have the shittiest day possible. But once I hit there and I meet a couple homies there and we start drinking some beer, just fucking around, the whole world doesn't matter at that point. It's like, dude, that's the only thing that actually keeps me somewhat sane inside this life. Like, even though, like, I wouldn't even say it was skateboarding. Just like, you know, I ended up hanging out with the wrong crowds sometimes.
I know those those Mormons come over your house, start knocking on the door, you start hanging out with them.
Yeah. No, man, but like I've had some pitfalls inside of skating where like I started skating as Craig, and then next thing you know, I meet a couple homies and everything turned from like they didn't skate too much. They were focused on, you know, making their money and doing what they do. And at the time, like I always said no. And then finally one day I was hanging out with this one dude I used to call dad, and then he was like, you ever done powder? And I was like, I've told that dude over there like 30 times no.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, I did some powder and I fucking loved it, bro. I fucking loved it. Made it snow in the summer, bro. And it was like I got all of it for free for a while. And then one day, because I got close with the homie Spaz over time, just like doing a little golf clap just to fuck with him. And I didn't even know him yet, but he tried to go skate in the bowl, and he's not bad. But I'd just sit there, and over time he was like, what the fuck you clapping for? Like, what are you clapping for? Like, you always out here clapping, you always say, and you only do it to me. Like, what the fuck, bro? Ever since then, we got closer, and the next thing you know, I guess one day the homie, not Spaz, but the other homie, or was a homie, he cuts his finger off almost. He was like a sushi chef.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh, he cuts it off at work?
Yeah.
Oh,
okay. And like he couldn't do the drug test or anything because he's high off of cocaine. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Spaz comes up to me. He's like, you better watch my little brother. Like, I know you're here all the time. And back then I used to start skating in the summertime at 8 in the morning until 10 at night.
Damn.
It would nonstop, and like we'd go out spanging and fucking making any way possible just to get some money, to get some weed, to do whatever. So that's like kind of like where the hustler came out. It's like that was, I have to look back at this time, it's my favorite.
The whole Encino thing you were talking about again with the whole skating and meeting everybody.
I didn't know they had a skate jam going, And I come at the end and I see this fucking canopy up, the last one standing. I go over and I'm like figuring out what the company is about, blah, blah, blah. And I asked him, I'm like, so you sponsor anybody? He's like, yeah, I'm thinking about it, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, all right, well, here's my portfolio. So I pull up my Instagram and everything. I show him. And he goes, damn, you know. And I was like, yeah, come over to the bowl with me. I'll show you instead. It'd be a lot better. So I showed him. By the time I got out the bowl, he got a film out of it. You know, I was like, yeah, you're on the team. And I was like, really? He was like, yeah.
Oh, that's it? Like, it's just that quick? I mean, I'm sorry, not that quick. You're just that good?
It was that quick. I mean, it was nice. And then,
I mean, for someone to say, hey, you're on, for you to go, hey, show me, let me show you, show me, boom, you're on. I mean, it's not a quick thing. I mean, that means you're actually good at what you do.
You know, and then later on, he was like, you know, you're the only person that ever tried out for the team. And I was like, I wasn't even really trying. It was just like, I was just showing you. I didn't know you're going to actually do it.
I mean, I'm proud of you, though. Like, that's fucking awesome because...
Oh, dude, hopefully one day.
So, hey, we'll wrap this up real quick. But, hey, Mr. Ricky Bobby, hey, thanks for coming on real quick. I want to have you come back because I know there's a couple other crazy skate stories. I know we got to talk about how you lost your knuckle, and there was another one. You were telling me something. You broke both your hands during skateboarding. So I want to bring you back. I want to talk about, unless you got a minute. I want to bring you back. I'll give you a second if you want. If you have a shout out or an Instagram, or if you want to give your sponsor a shout out or whatever, hey, the floor is yours.
At Encino Skates. God bless them. Pedro, you the man. Shout out to Vince Stones on Instagram. Fucking immaculate skater. And then if you want to follow me at Old Fucks on Instagram.
All right, hey, Ricky Bobby, thanks again for coming out. Can't wait for you to come back for part 2, part 3, part 4. Hopefully we get Joey out here.
It might be a part 4.
We'll have fun. We'll have Secretary Surrey over here.
Secretary Surrey out here.
You just got to put her on a board next.
I think she would skate, to be honest. I think so. I think you'd get the energy out of her.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode. For more info, find us on Facebook and Instagram. And if you have a story you'd love to share, shoot us an email at aflvpodcast@gmail.com. That's AF, Achieving Failure, LV, Las Vegas, podcast@gmail.com. Thanks again, and we'll see you all next time.